Stuart Shapiro. Thank you to Stuart for putting us on in this movie, and Jonathan Hertzberg for saving the movie and restoring it. Let's go.
Thank you, John. Thanks.
Thanks. Isn't that fantastic? Such a jewel. It's amazing. Jonathan did the restoration, and we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the mad preserver of jewels from 40 years ago. So thank you, Jonathan.
How many people here? Is this the first time for you seeing the movie?
Oh, wow. And how many people saw this on Night Flight 35 or 40 years ago?
There we go.
There we go. So it's really interesting because this film was one of the seminal films that I use the word DNA, that when Night Flight was on from 1981 to 1988, this film was a film that really represented the essence of Night Flight. And it's been kind of like a secret film all these years. And then Jonathan comes around and manages to convince Paramount to do a restoration. Tell us how you can do that.
Sure. Well, actually, we did the restoration on this one. We convinced them by paying them. But really,
how about that?
But really, Night Flight really does deserve so much credit for making so many people, a generation, aware of this movie. I mean, because this is like right here. This is like a bigger audience than this movie got. Like, it barely got a shot. Barely was released originally. It wasn't really until you guys played it about 4-5 years later.
Yeah, it was really.
That most people saw it, and then for years people were trading bootleg copies on video that they had taped off Night Flight.
And it's really amazing. The director of this film is Lou Adler, and Lou Adler is the A of A&M Records. And I don't think he ever directed another film. It was also produced by Joe Roth, and Joe Roth's first film that he produced was Tunnel Vision, which was my first film. And actually, Tunnel Vision was one of the first films that we launched Night Flight in 1981, 5 years ago. So we're celebrating our 45th anniversary. And 10 years of Night Flight. So it's pretty special, frankly.
And actually, we have on our Blu-ray, we have an interview with you on there where you go into this history and then some. You get the whole history of Night Flight, and then also about how Stain's factoring.
Yeah, I mean, I started International Harmony in 1976. I wish I had Fabulous Stains as a theatrical release. But when we started Night Flight, Paramount was actually one of the owners of USA Network. And that's how we were able to actually get Paramount films on Night Flight, of which the other one was Breaking Glass.
Which is also a Fun City Edition Blu-ray.
So we have only a few minutes. Open for questions. Anybody got any questions they want to pose? Go ahead. Sure.
What does the future of Night Flight look like?
Yeah.
More and more and more. So actually today, we just launched what I'm calling Deep Dive, which is a companion, a second screen companion. When you're watching one of the 3 live channels on Night Flight, you can now go to, on your phone, while you're watching in real time, you can actually go into a deep dive on the actual content that you're watching. And I guess that's a future today concept that I tried to work on for a long time. I believe that Night Flight is all about discovery, and I believe in the intellectual aspect of what you're watching to be able to dive into understanding the relevance of the films and the behind the scenes and what makes them. So that's a component that we just launched on Night Flight Plus. And I don't know how many people here actually are subscribers to Night Flight Plus. So every Friday night, we bring out 3, 4, 5 new films. We're going to continue doing that. We've been doing that for 10 years in a row. And it's getting better and better and cooler, and I'm really proud of what we got going.
You over there? Uh-huh.
Me?
Yeah.
Thank you for everything. This whole group we grew up on Night Flight, and it shaped the way we are today. And we're all creatives now, and get to be lucky enough to make our living as creatives. And so thank you for that, because I really feel like it's because of your platform that I was born in '72, so it was like I was really being shaped by on the cable box, you know.
Well, I hope it's still working.
So cable boxes and the subscription is. So I'm just wondering, we all do creative endeavors and you know, movies and videos and this and that, and would you ever do the sort of, I know it's cliche of it, sort of, would you ever become a studio to kind of like really would you ever be in a place where you could let creative people do Night Flight type of things under your own umbrella? Does that make sense?
Well, if you're talking about...
Can you give me money?
Yeah, okay, well, I'm getting there. But as a creative, you have to create without money anyway.
We do.
You have no
No
choice.
one's getting paid. No one's getting paid. I was kidding when I said we got paid for it. No, but I mean, like, would you ever be able to do a thing where, like, you know, indie? I feel like that production studio, because I feel like indie is sort of dying, and the thing that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And
More than ever, Night Flight is an independent creative source. And we need you to continue to start making content to bring on Night Flight Plus. And I think it's more important than ever to maintain our independence. There's very few, and I'm committed to it. Our subscriber base is growing more now than ever, and the more we get, the more we're going to be able to have films and support the independent art in all endeavors.
thank you.
So kick it out, girl.
Really time for one more. One more.
How difficult was the restoration? Because the version that we've seen is pretty low quality.
Yeah.
I'm curious how difficult the restoration was when you were going through it.
Well, we had access to the original camera negative, which is great because that's the best possible source. And we have extra people. I don't actually do that part. We have people that are restoration artists and then colorists, and so yeah, they did their thing. You see it up there on screen. And if you want to take it home with you, I have a few copies with me. Where am I going to be?
Downstairs.
Downstairs.
With
I'm
your
going to be
books.
downstairs.
Yeah, and downstairs, so I have a book that I did a few years ago called Identify Yourself, A Journey in Fuck You, Creative Courage. I have to everybody telling you. And I have downstairs, I brought 10 books, I'm giving them away. So line up and also those rolling papers that I gave out, everybody gets fucking high on Night Flight.
Thank you so much, everybody.